My daughter gave me an ultimatum on Tuesday. Either I serve her husband bringing him food, cleaning up after him, or I leave. Those were her exact words. I smiled, went upstairs, grabbed my suitcase, and made one phone call. That was 6 months ago. Let me tell you how we got there. Before continuing, subscribe to the channel and write in the comments where you are listening from. My daughter gave me an ultimatum on a Tuesday. Either I could serve her husband his meals and clean up after him, or I could leave. Her exact words. I remember the way the afternoon light caught the dust particles between us. I remember thinking how strange it was that the most important conversations happen in the most ordinary moments. I smiled. I walked upstairs. I grabbed my suitcase. And I made one call. That was 6 months ago. Let me tell you how we got here. I built that house with my own hands. Not metaphorically. Actually built it. Summer of 1992. I was 41 years old, newly widowed, with a 7-year-old daughter who still cried for her mother every night. The insurance money wasn't much, but it was enough for land and lumber if you knew what you were doing. I knew what I was doing. Every board, every nail, every window frame. I remember the blisters turning to calluses. I remember Sarah, that's my daughter, bringing me lemonade in a plastic cup with cartoon characters on it. She'd sit on stacks of 2x4s and tell me about her day at school. The house grew around us like a promise. This is ours. This is safe. Nobody can take this away. I was wrong about that last part. Sarah was brilliant. Straight A's from elementary through high school. Full scholarship to state, then a master's degree in education. I was so proud I thought my chest would crack open. I paid for what the scholarship didn't cover. $48,000 across 6 years. I have the bank statements. I keep everything. She met Marcus during her second year of grad school. He was getting his MBA. Confident, charismatic, the kind of guy who knew the right wine to order and could talk to anyone at a party. I'll admit, I was impressed at first. He came from money, real money. His father owned commercial properties across 3 counties. They got married in 2012. I paid for the wedding. $32,000. Sarah wanted it. Perfect. And I wanted Sarah happy. The venue had these crystal chandeliers that caught the light like frozen fireworks. Marcus's family filled half the church. Doctors, lawyers, business owners. They were polite to me, but there was something in their eyes, like they were doing me a favor by breathing the same air. Marcus's mother cornered me at the reception. She had that smile people use when they're about to insult you, but want to maintain deniability. She said, "It's so generous of you to give Sarah this wedding. I'm sure it's more than you're used to spending." Then she patted my arm and glided away. I should have paid attention to that moment, but I was watching Sarah dance with her new husband, and she looked so happy. They moved into a condo downtown. Marcus got a position at his father's company. Sarah taught at a private elementary school. They did well. Expensive cars. Vacations to places I'd never heard of. Every Christmas, Sarah would show me photos on her phone. Beaches, mountains, cities with buildings that scraped the clouds. I was still in the house, still working. I'd started a small contracting business after Sarah went to college. Nothing fancy, but honest work. Kitchen remodels, deck repairs, the occasional new build. I made enough. The house was paid off. I had savings. I was fine. Then Marcus's father died. Heart attack. Sudden. He was 63. The inheritance didn't go the way Marcus expected. Turns out, his father had been creative with his finances. Offshore accounts. Investment losses he'd hidden. The properties were mortgaged to the ceiling. When everything shook out, Marcus got almost nothing. His mother got the family home, and enough to live on. His two sisters got trust funds that couldn't be touched. Marcus got approximately $75,000 and a lot of debt his father had put in his name for tax purposes. I found this out later. At the time, all I knew was that Marcus changed. He got quieter, meaner. Sarah started calling me more often, and there was something brittle in her voice. Then came the request. Could they move in with me? Just temporarily. Just until they got back on their feet. The condo was too expensive. Marcus's job at his father's company had evaporated with the estate. Sarah was still teaching, but private school salaries don't stretch far. Of course, I said yes. It's what you do. It's family. They moved in on a Saturday in April, 2 years ago. I helped Marcus carry boxes. He didn't say much. Sarah was anxious, apologetic. Just a few months, Dad. We'll find something. Marcus has interviews lined up. The first month was fine. Awkward, but fine. I gave them the master bedroom. I took the guest room. My room, I kept thinking, but I didn't say it. Sarah cooked dinner most nights. We'd eat together and watch TV. Almost normal. The second month, things shifted. Marcus stopped looking for work with quite as much urgency. He'd sleep until 10, then spend hours on the computer doing what he called networking. Sarah worked long days. She'd come home exhausted, and Marcus would complain that dinner wasn't ready. I started cooking. It seemed easier. Sarah had so much on her plate. Third month, Marcus started giving me instructions. Could I vacuum upstairs? His allergies were acting up. Could I pick up groceries? He needed specific brands. Could I not watch TV in the living room after 8? He and Sarah needed quiet time. Quiet time. In my house. In the living room I'd built with my own hands. Sarah didn't say anything. When I looked at her, she'd glance away. Fourth month, I heard them talking. I wasn't eavesdropping. I was in the garage, putting away tools. Their bedroom window was open. Marcus's voice carried. Your father needs to understand his position here. We're doing him a favor. At his age, living alone, it's dangerous. He should be grateful we're here to look after him. Sarah's voice was softer. I had to strain to hear. He built this house, Marcus. He's letting us stay. Is he? Because last I checked, he's the one cooking and cleaning. Last I checked, we're the ones making sure he doesn't fall down the stairs in the middle of the night. Has he even thanked us? I stood very still. I remember the smell of sawdust and motor oil. I remember the exact pattern of sunlight through the garage door window. 5th month, Marcus stopped pretending. He'd leave dishes on the table and walk away. He'd ask me to bring him things like I was staff. Fetch me a beer. Make me a sandwich. Do we have any of those chips I like? Sarah said nothing. She'd come home, see me cleaning up after her husband, and go straight upstairs. I want to be clear about something. I wasn't angry yet. I was confused. This was my daughter. The little girl who brought me lemonade. The woman I'd sacrificed everything to give a better life. Where was she? Month 6, I found out about the mortgage attempt. I got a call from my bank. Routine. Check. There'd been an application for a home equity line of credit. Did I authorize this? No, I did not. The bank flagged it. Wrong signatures. They were very apologetic. These things happen. Attempted fraud isn't uncommon. Would I like to put additional security measures in place? Yes, I would. I didn't confront them immediately. I needed to think. I pulled the documents. Marcus had forged my signature. Badly, but he'd tried. He'd claimed he had power of attorney. He'd claimed I'd requested the loan to pay for medical expenses. I went to see my lawyer, old friend from my contracting days. He took one look at the papers and whistled low. How much were they trying to get? 200,000. That's ambitious. That's also a felony. I didn't file charges. Not then. I should have. Instead, I went home and I watched. I started documenting dates, times, requests, expenses. I tracked every dollar I spent on groceries, utilities, maintenance. I made copies of everything. Month 8. The poker debts surfaced. I found out because a man came to my door. Polite, professional, very sorry to bother me. Was Marcus Hammond available? Marcus wasn't home. Who was asking? The man handed me a card. Collection agency. Marcus owed $18,000 to a casino 3 counties over. They'd been trying to reach him for 2 months. His phone was disconnected. His email bounced. This was his last known address. I told the man Marcus didn't live here. The man looked at his paperwork. This was the address Marcus had given when he opened the account. Was I sure? Very sure. The man apologized for the inconvenience and left. I kept his card. That night, I asked Marcus about it. Casual. Over dinner I'd cooked. Hey, had a guy come by today looking for you? Something about a casino? Marcus's face went blank. Then smooth. Identity theft. I've been dealing with it for months. Total nightmare. Is that right? Yeah. Someone got my social security number. Opened accounts all over. I've got lawyers handling it. Lawyers cost money. My mother's helping out. He was lying. I knew he was lying. He knew I knew. We both kept eating. Month 10, Sarah got pregnant. She told me first. Early morning, I was making coffee. She came down in her bathrobe, eyes red. Dad, I'm going to have a baby. I hugged her. Of course I hugged her. That's wonderful, sweetheart. She was crying. Is it? Isn't it? She pulled back, wiped her eyes. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. She didn't explain. Marcus came down 10 minutes later. She told him he whooped, picked her up, spun her around, started talking about nurseries and names and what a great father he'd be. Sarah's face was gray. Month 11, Marcus stopped working entirely. He'd landed a sales position 2 months prior, lasted 3 weeks. Since then, nothing. He spent his days on the couch. Sarah was showing now. Tired all the time. She'd drag herself to work, come home, and find Marcus exactly where she'd left him. I took over everything. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, yard work. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself Sarah needed me. I was building the nursery, guest room conversion. I bought the paint, the crib, the little lamp shaped like a moon. Sarah would stand in the doorway and watch me work, and sometimes I'd see my daughter again, the one from before. You don't have to do this, Dad. I want to. I don't know how to fix this. Fix what? But she'd already walked away. Month 13. Marcus's mother called. I answered the house phone. Yes, I still have a landline, and her voice was ice wrapped in silk. I need to speak with my son. He's not here. When will he be back? I couldn't say. Pause. Are you aware that Marcus has been telling people you're experiencing cognitive decline? I went very still. Excuse me? Dementia. Early stages. He's been quite concerned. He's told several family members that you've been forgetting things, getting confused, that he and Sarah are caring for you in your final years. That's a lie, is it? Because he's also mentioned that you've been signing documents you don't understand, that you've been giving him power of attorney over your affairs because you're no longer competent to manage them. My hand was shaking. I set down the coffee cup very carefully. I've signed nothing, haven't you? Because I've seen paperwork, Mr. Patterson. I've seen your signature on documents transferring partial ownership of your home to my son. Those documents are forgeries. Another pause, longer this time. Are they? Yes. Then you should probably speak with an attorney. And you should probably ask yourself why my son and your daughter need to live in your house if they're doing so well." She hung up. I sat at my kitchen table for 2 hours. I'd built that table. Red oak, mortise and tenon joints. 40 years from now, someone's great-grandchildren could eat off that table. I made 3 calls. My lawyer, my bank, my accountant. Then I started building my case. Month 14, Sarah had the baby. Little girl, 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Perfect. They named her Emma. I held her in the hospital and something inside me cracked. This child would grow up in my house. This child would watch her father treat me like a servant. This child would learn that family means hierarchy and use. No, I went home that night and I worked. I pulled every document, every receipt, every bank statement. I built a timeline. I built a narrative. I had proof of the attempted fraud, proof of the forged signatures, proof of Marcus's debts, proof of every dollar I'd spent supporting them for over a year. Month 15, I hired a private investigator. $2,000. Worth every penny. He found the gambling debts, the other loans Marcus had taken out using false information, the credit cards he'd maxed and defaulted on, the pattern of fraud going back 5 years. He also found the girlfriend, 4 months active. She worked at the casino. Marcus had been driving 3 hours each way, twice a week, while Sarah was at work. While I was home cooking his dinner. I didn't tell Sarah. Not yet. Month 16, Marcus made his mistake. Big one. He brought papers for me to sign. Sat down at the kitchen table, my table, and slid a folder across. What's this? Nothing major. Just updating the house insurance. Your current policy is outdated. I talked to an agent. This is better coverage. I opened the folder. It wasn't insurance paperwork. It was a quitclaim deed. Transfer of property ownership from me to Marcus and Sarah. Joint tenancy. This isn't insurance. It's estate planning. If something happens to you, we need to make sure everything transfers smoothly. For Sarah's sake. For Emma's sake. Nothing's going to happen to me. You're 73 years old. You need to be realistic. I looked at him. Really looked at him. He was 39. Soft around the middle. Thinning hair. 5 o'clock shadow that he thought made him look distinguished, but really just made him look unwashed. Get out of my house. He blinked. What? You heard me. Get out. You can't kick us out. Sarah has rights. Emma has rights. Sarah is welcome to stay. You're not. I'm her husband. You're a fraud and a liar. I know about the gambling debts. I know about the forged loan application. I know about the fake power of attorney. I know about Melissa. His face drained. You're bluffing. Try me. He stood up. Tried to loom over me. You're a senile old man. Nobody will believe you. I'll have you declared incompetent. I'll get guardianship. You'll spend your last years in a home while I sell this house out from under you. No. I said, I won't. That's when Sarah walked in. She'd come home early. She'd heard everything. The silence was spectacular. Marcus turned. Shifted modes instantly. Honey, your father is having one of his episodes. He's been doing this lately. Paranoid delusions. I think we need to call his doctor. Sarah looked at him. Looked at me. Looked at the papers on the table. What's that? Insurance paperwork. She picked it up. Read it. Her face went white. This is a deed transfer. It's estate planning. You were going to steal my father's house. I was protecting our family. Our family. Sarah, who's Melissa? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. I don't know what he told you. But get out. What? Get out. Her voice was shaking. Get out of this house. Get out of my sight. Get out. He tried to touch her. She stepped back. I'll pack your things, she said. I'll leave them on the porch. You have 1 hour to be gone before I call the police. He looked at me, back at her. You're making a mistake. The mistake was marrying you. He left. Slammed the door hard enough to rattle the windows. His car spat gravel pulling out of the driveway. Sarah sat down at the table, put her head in her hands, started to shake. I didn't know what to do. I put my hand on her shoulder. She jerked away. Did you know? Before today? Some of it. Not all. How long? 2 months. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? She looked up. Her eyes were drowning. I don't know. God help me. I don't know. Emma started crying upstairs. Sarah stood up, mechanically, like a puppet on strings. I need to feed her. Sarah, please, Dad. Just, please. She went upstairs. I sat alone at my kitchen table. My house was quiet, except for the sound of my daughter crying while she fed her daughter. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Marcus came back 3 days later with a lawyer. They knocked on the door at 8 in the morning. Professional, courteous, completely devastating. Marcus was suing for emergency custody of Emma, claiming Sarah was living in an unsafe environment with an elderly parent who suffered from dementia, claiming I was a danger to the child, claiming Sarah was enabling my delusions. He had affidavits, 3 people willing to testify that I'd shown signs of cognitive decline, that I'd forgotten conversations, made irrational accusations, become paranoid and aggressive. The people? His mother, his sister, a friend of theirs who'd met me exactly once. Sarah's lawyer I'd paid for him was good. He tore the case apart in 48 hours. My doctor testified that I was cognitively sound. My bank manager testified that I managed my finances independently. My pastor testified that I volunteered at the church food bank and showed no signs of confusion. The private investigator's report about Marcus's fraud and infidelity helped too. The custody case was dismissed. Marcus was ordered to pay court costs. He was also flagged for the attempted fraud. The district attorney's office opened an investigation. Marcus vanished, left town. Last I heard, he was in Nevada. His mother paid for the lawyer to handle the divorce. Sarah got full custody. Marcus got supervised visitation that he never used. That should have been the end. But Sarah couldn't let it go. She blamed me. Not for Marcus. For her not seeing it sooner. For her wasting years. For her bringing a child into a broken marriage. She needed someone to be angry at, and I was there. We lived in the same house. We barely spoke. I took care of Emma while Sarah worked. Sarah came home and took Emma upstairs. We moved around each other like ghosts. Month 18 post-Marcus, Sarah met Richard. He was a teacher at her school. Divorced. 1 kid. Nice guy. Too nice. The kind of nice that comes from being steamrolled so many times you've forgotten you're allowed to have edges. Sarah married him 5 months later. Courthouse wedding. I wasn't invited. They needed a house. Of course they needed a house. Sarah asked if they could stay with me, temporarily, just until they saved enough for a down payment. I said yes. What else could I say? Richard was fine, painfully polite, painfully eager to help. He insisted on paying rent, $500 a month. I didn't need it, but he needed to pay it, so I let him. But then the requests started. Could I watch Emma on date nights? Could I help Richard's son with homework? Could I make dinner on Tuesdays and Thursdays when they both worked late? Month 6 with Richard and Sarah, I was raising 2 children, cooking every meal, and cleaning a house that was no longer mine in any way that mattered. Richard's son called me Mr. Patterson. Emma called me Papa. Sarah called me when she needed something. Month 10, Richard's job relocated. 3 hours south, better pay, better position. They had to take it. Sarah asked if I wanted to come with them. We can buy a bigger house. You can have your own space. I'd hate for you to be alone here. Alone? In the house I'd built. The house that was apparently no longer safe for me to occupy by myself. I said I'd think about it. I didn't have to think long. 2 days later, Richard's mother came to visit. Lovely woman. We had coffee. She looked around the kitchen and said, "Sarah told me you built this place yourself." I did. It's beautiful. You must have so many memories here. I do. Richard's excited about the move. He thinks it'll be a fresh start for everyone. That's good. She paused, sipped her coffee. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you want to move with them? Honestly? I didn't answer right away. She waited. No, I finally said. I don't. She nodded. Then don't. You've earned the right to live your life on your terms. Don't let guilt make your decisions. She left 20 minutes later. I sat in my kitchen and looked at the walls I'd built, the floor I'd laid, the windows I'd installed. This was mine, every inch of it. And I'd been giving it away piece by piece because I was afraid of being selfish. When Sarah came home, I told her I wasn't moving. She could take the money I'd saved for her inheritance and use it for their down payment. But I was staying. She didn't argue, just nodded. Okay. They moved 3 weeks later. I helped them pack. Richard shook my hand. Emma hugged my neck and cried. Sarah kissed my cheek and said, "Call if you need anything." Then they were gone. My house was silent. Profoundly silent. I walked through empty rooms and felt like an archaeologist discovering my own life. The first week was hard. I'd wake up and expect to hear Emma. I'd make too much coffee. I'd set the table for 4. The second week was easier. I started doing things on my own. Schedule. Eating breakfast at 9 instead of 6. Watching TV past 8. Leaving dishes in the sink overnight. The third week, I invited friends over, men I'd worked with over the years. We played cards, drank beer, laughed at stupid jokes. My house filled with noise that wasn't need or obligation. Month 3 alone, I started dating. 73 years old, and I went on a date. Her name was Carol, retired nurse. We met at the hardware store. She asked my opinion on paint colors. I told her the truth. They were all fine. Pick the one that made her happy. She laughed. You're the first man who's ever said that. We got coffee, then dinner, then a movie. She came over and saw my house and said, "You built this?" I did. It's incredible. Nobody had said that to me in years. Month 6 alone, Sarah called. Emma was sick. Nothing serious. But Sarah had to work. Could I come watch her? 3-hour drive. Each way. I said yes. I showed up at 8 in the morning. Sarah looked exhausted. Emma was on the couch with a thermometer and a blanket. She saw me, and her face lit up. "Papa, I spent the day with my granddaughter. We read books, watched cartoons. I made her soup. She fell asleep with her head on my lap." Sarah came home at 5. "Thank you so much, Dad. I don't know what I would have done. It's fine. Can you stay for dinner?" We ate together. Sarah. Richard. Emma. Richard's son. Me. It was nice. Genuinely nice. Like maybe we'd figured something out. Richard asked about Carol. I told them. Emma wanted to know if Carol was my girlfriend. I said maybe. Sarah smiled. "I'm glad, Dad. You deserve to be happy." I drove home that night, thinking maybe things were okay. Maybe we'd found a balance. Then came the ultimatum. Month 8 alone, Sarah called. Big news. Richard got another promotion. They were moving again. Bigger city. Better opportunities. The thing is, Dad, The cost of living is insane. We're trying to figure out how to make it work. Okay. The house you gave us money for? We barely broke even when we sold it. This new market is brutal. I'm sorry to hear that. Pause. We were thinking, you're all alone in that big house. What if you sold it? Use the money to buy a smaller place near us? Or we could all go in together on something bigger. Multi-generational living is really popular now. I'm not selling my house, Dad. No, Sarah. I'm not selling the house I built. I'm not moving across the country. I'm happy here. You're being selfish. That word that had controlled me for decades. Maybe I am. Maybe I've earned that. What about Emma? Don't you want to be near your granddaughter? Of course I do. But not at the cost of erasing my entire life. We need help, Dad. We need financial help. That house is worth... No. You're choosing a house over your family. I'm choosing my life over your demands. She hung up, didn't call back for 3 weeks. When she did, her voice was different. Harder. Richard and I have been talking. We think it's best if we take some space. From you. Space. We need to focus on our family. Our immediate family. We can't keep accommodating your stubbornness. Accommodating my stubbornness? You know what I mean. I really don't. Sarah, I mean that for once in your life, you could think about someone other than yourself. You could think about what's best for Emma. For us, what's best for you is me, selling everything and funding your lifestyle. That's not fair, isn't it? You want my house. You want my money. You want me available whenever you need help but absent when I'm inconvenient. What exactly do you want me for, Sarah? Other than what I can provide? Silence. I think we should take a break, she finally said. I think Emma and I need some time without your negativity in our lives. You're cutting me off because I won't sell my house. I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. Is there? She hung up. I didn't hear from her for 4 months. Then, Emma's birthday came. She turned 5. I wasn't invited to the party. I sent a gift anyway. Big dollhouse. The kind I would have built myself if they lived closer. Sarah sent a text. Emma loved it. Thank you. That was all. Month 12 alone, I went to Carol's daughter's wedding. Carol asked me to come as her date. I wore a suit, danced for the first time in decades. Carol's family welcomed me. Her grandson asked if I could teach him to build a birdhouse. I built 6 birdhouses that summer, 1 for each of Carol's grandchildren. I didn't hear from Sarah at all. Month 15 alone, I had a heart attack. Minor one. I was at Home Depot, reached for something on a high shelf, felt like someone parked a truck on my chest. I woke up in the hospital. Carol was there. She'd listed herself as my emergency contact. She'd driven 90 miles per hour to get to me. Sarah showed up 6 hours later. She walked into the room and saw Carol holding my hand. Dad, oh my God, why didn't you call me? I was unconscious. She looked at Carol. Who are you? Carol, I'm Weir. You're his girlfriend. Yes. Sarah's face did something complicated. How long? 16 months. 16 months. And you didn't tell me. You weren't speaking to me. Because you were being impossible. Carol stood up. I'll give you two some privacy. She left. Sarah sat down. We looked at each other. Are you okay? She asked. Doctor says I'll be fine. Minor blockage. They put in a stent. That's good. Yes. Does Carol make you happy? She does. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I've been so angry at you. I know. I don't even know why anymore. I didn't say anything. Let her work through it. I think, she said slowly, I've been angry because you stopped needing me. What? When Marcus left. When you didn't fall apart. When you built your life without me. I think part of me needed you to need me, to prove that I mattered. You matter, Sarah. Do I? Because it feels like you're fine without me. You have Carol. You have your house. You have your life. Where do I fit? Where do you want to fit? She wiped her eyes. I want to be your daughter, not your burden, not your obligation, not your source of income. Your daughter. You've always been my daughter. Have I? Or have I been your project? The thing you built after Mom died? The thing you sacrificed for? That hit something deep. I didn't have an answer. I need to go, she said. I'm glad you're okay, Dad. Really. She left. Carol came back, held my hand, didn't ask questions. I went home 2 days later. Carol stayed with me for a week, made meals, kept me from doing anything stupid. Her kindness was unfamiliar. I kept waiting for the invoice. It never came. Month 17 alone, Sarah sent an email. Dad, I've been in therapy, sorting through a lot of stuff. My therapist thinks I have some codependency issues stemming from losing Mom when I was young. Thinks I've been conflating love with sacrifice. Thinks I've been demanding you prove you love me by giving up things that matter to you. She might be right. I'm sorry. For Marcus, for Richard, for the ultimatums, for treating you like a resource instead of a person. I don't know how to fix this, but I want to try. Can we talk? Love, Sarah. I called her that night. We talked for 3 hours. Really talked. She cried. I cried. We didn't fix everything, but we started. She visited a month later, brought Emma, brought Richard, Richard's son. They stayed in a hotel, came over for dinner. Emma ran through my house like she owned it. Which, in a way, she did. Legacy is funny like that. Richard helped me fix a leaky faucet. We talked about sports, normal things. Sarah sat on my porch and said, "This house is really beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad you didn't sell it. Me too. What happens to it? When you're gone? I'm leaving it to a veterans organization. They'll turn it into transitional housing." She absorbed that. Not to me? No. Because I don't deserve it. Because you don't need it. You need to build your own life, your own house, your own legacy. She nodded. That's fair. Emma came running out. Papa, can we build something? What do you want to build? A castle. So we built a castle. Cardboard boxes and duct tape and markers. It was ridiculous and perfect. Emma declared herself queen, demanded tribute of cookies. That night, after they left, I sat on my porch with Carol. The house was quiet behind us. Good day? She asked. Good day. Think you'll see them again soon? I hope so. But if I don't, I'm okay. She squeezed my hand. That's growth, you know. What is? Being okay either way. Loving someone without needing them to complete you. I thought about that. About Sarah. About all the years I'd confused sacrifice with love. About how I'd built this house thinking it would keep us safe, keep us together, only to learn that places don't hold people. People hold themselves. I built this house for Sarah, I said. After her mother died, I thought if I could just give her something solid, something permanent, she'd be okay. And houses aren't people. Permanence isn't love. Safety isn't the same as presence. Do you regret it? No, but I understand it differently now. A breeze moved through the trees. Summer evening. Fireflies. The smell of cut grass. What would you tell yourself? Carol asked. If you could go back to the beginning. I thought about it. About 26-year-old me, holding a 7-year-old Sarah while she cried for her mother. About 41-year-old me, building walls board by board, about all the versions of me in between. I'd tell myself that love isn't about erasing yourself. It's about building something strong enough to hold everyone, including you. Including you, Carol repeated. Including me. We sat in the quiet. The house behind us breathed, settled. The foundation I'd laid 30 years ago still solid under our feet. I didn't know what came next. Maybe Sarah and I would rebuild something real. Maybe we wouldn't. But I was done building my life around maybes that belonged to other people. Month 20 alone. Though I wasn't alone anymore. Not really. I got a call from Emma's school. Sarah was listed as primary contact, but she was in a meeting. Emergency contact number 2. Me. Emma had fallen on the playground. Possible broken arm. Could I come? I was there in 40 minutes. Emma was in the nurse's office, trying not to cry. When she saw me, she broke. Papa, it hurts. I know, sweetheart. We're going to fix it. Hospital. X-rays. Fractured radius. Clean break. Cast for 6 weeks. Emma picked purple. Sarah arrived as they were setting the cast. Her face was terror and relief. Dad, thank you. I came as fast as I could. She's okay. I should have been here. You're here now. We took Emma home. Their home, 3 hours away. I drove Sarah's car, while Sarah sat in back with Emma. Richard met us at the door. He'd left work early. Sarah asked if I could stay for dinner. I said yes. That night, after Emma was asleep, Sarah and I sat in her kitchen. It was small. Rental. Nothing like the house I'd built. But it was hers. You came? She said. Of course I came. After everything. After how I treated you. You still came. That's what family does. She laughed. Bitter. Is it? Because I'm pretty sure I spent years showing you the opposite. I didn't argue. She was right. I'm trying, she said. To be better. To not repeat the patterns. Emma asks about you all the time. Yeah? Yeah. She wants to know when she can visit Papa's house again, when you're going to teach her to build things. Anytime she wants. Really? Really. Sarah looked at her hands. I told my therapist about the ultimatum, the one I gave you with Marcus. Either serve him or leave. I'd almost forgotten about that. The beginning of the end. She asked me what I thought you should have done. I said you should have stayed. Should have helped us. Should have understood we were struggling. And she asked what I would tell Emma to do. If someday Emma's husband demanded I serve him or leave, what would I want Emma to choose? The question hung between us. I'd want her to leave, Sarah whispered. I'd want her to choose herself, her dignity, her worth. But you didn't want that from me. No, because I didn't see you as a person. I saw you as Dad. The man who fixes things. The man who sacrifices. The man who stays, no matter what. I'm proud of you, I said. She looked up, shocked. What? For figuring this out. For doing the work. For breaking the pattern before Emma inherits it. She started crying. Real crying. The kind that comes from somewhere deep and old. I was so cruel to you. You were hurting. That's not an excuse. No, but it's an explanation. We talked until midnight. About Marcus. About her mother. About the weight of being someone's everything. About how love can become obligation, can become resentment, can become cruelty, all while everyone involved thinks they're doing the right thing. Before I left, she hugged me. Long and hard. I love you, Dad. Not for what you can do for me. Just you. I love you too. I drove home in the dark. 3 hours alone with my thoughts. But they were good thoughts. Heavy, but good. Carol was waiting up. I'd called her from the hospital. She'd made tea. How is she? Emma's fine. Purple cast. Very proud of it. And Sarah? Better. We're better. She handed me tea. We sat on the couch. My couch. In my house. You know what's strange? I said. What? I spent so many years terrified of being alone. After Sarah's mother died, after Sarah grew up and moved out, I built my whole life around not being alone. And I like it. Being alone. Being with myself. It's not the same as being lonely. No, Carol agreed. It's not. I think that's what I had to learn. The difference. Month 24 alone, 2 years since Sarah and Richard moved, Emma came to stay with me for a week. Summer break. Sarah and Richard needed couple time. Emma and I built a treehouse. Well, I built it. She handed me tools and told me how it should look. Higher, Papa. Any higher, and we'll need a pilot's license. What's that? Permission to fly. She giggled. Trees don't fly. Maybe they do when we're not looking. We painted it purple. Emma's choice. We put a bookshelf inside, a beanbag chair, a jar for treasures. The last day, Emma said, I wish I could live here forever. Forever's a long time. I know, but I like it here. It's quiet, and you don't yell. That stopped me. Does someone yell at home? No, but Mom gets stressed, and Richard's son is loud. And sometimes I just want quiet. I get that. Do you get stressed, Papa? Sometimes. What do you do? I go to my workshop, or I sit on the porch, or I call Carol. Does that help? Usually. She thought about that. I think I need a workshop. I think you do too. We built her a workshop. Corner of her room. Small desk. Organizer for supplies. A sign she made, Emma's Workshop. Knock first. When Sarah picked her up, Emma gave me a detailed report on everything we'd done. Sarah looked at the photos, looked at me. You built her a treehouse. We built it together. Purple, her signature color. Sarah laughed. Thank you, Dad. She won't stop talking about it. Good. Give her something that's hers, something she controls. Sarah understood. I will. Month 30 alone, I had another health scare. Nothing serious, but serious enough. Pneumonia. Hospital stay. 5 days. Carol called Sarah. Sarah drove through the night. She walked into my room at 6 a.m, looking like hell. Why didn't you call me? It's pneumonia, not a heart attack. You're 75 years old. Pneumonia is serious. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're in a hospital bed, Carol intervened. He's stubborn, but he's stable. The doctors are pleased with his progress. Sarah looked between us. You two are good together. We are. I agreed. When this is over, I want you both to come visit. Properly. Not emergency visits. Planned visits. We'd like that. Sarah stayed 2 days. Brought me books. Terrible hospital coffee. Updates on Emma. We played cards. She won every hand because I was on pain medication and couldn't focus. Before she left, she said, I'm scared of losing you. I'm not going anywhere yet. But someday, but not today. Will you promise me something? Depends. Will you let me be here? When it's time. Not as obligation, not as duty, but because I want to be? Yes. Okay. She kissed my forehead. Get better, old man. Working on it. Month 36. Alone 3 years since the ultimatum. Sarah hosted Thanksgiving. Invited me and Carol, Richard's family, her friends, big gathering. Emma showed everyone her workshop setup. Demonstrated the treehouse via video call. I was apparently famous. After dinner, Sarah pulled me aside. I need to tell you something. Okay. I'm writing a book. About our relationship. About what I learned. My therapist suggested it. My stomach dropped. A book, not for publication, for me, for Emma, for when she's older and trying to figure out her own patterns. What are you going to say? The truth, that I was cruel, that you were imperfect, that we both had to learn how to love each other as actual people instead of roles. That's fair. Will you read it? When it's done? If you want me to, I do. 6 months later, she sent me the manuscript, 150 pages. I read it in one sitting. She was honest, brutal, even, about Marcus, about her demands, about how she'd weaponized my love for her, about the ultimatum, about realizing too late that I was a person, not a resource. But she was also honest about me, about the ways I'd confused sacrifice with love, about how I'd built my identity around being needed, about how my generosity sometimes came with invisible strings. It was hard to read, but it was true. I called her when I finished. Well, it's good. It's hard, but it's good. Are you angry? No, I'm proud. This took courage. I want Emma to read it someday, when she's old enough, so she knows that families are messy, that love is complicated, that mistakes don't have to be permanent. She's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. To have you. To have gotten the chance to fix this. We fixed it together. Yeah, we did. Month 48 alone. 4 years since I grabbed my suitcase and left. I sold the house. Not because anyone demanded it. Not because I needed the money. Because I was ready. Carol and I were getting married. We wanted something new. Something that was ours together. Not mine with her visiting. Not ghosts of previous lives. Sarah came to help me pack. She walked through the empty rooms, touching walls. I learned to walk in this room. You did. And this is where you taught me to cook. Burned a lot of grilled cheese right there. And my bedroom. I can still see the height marks on the doorframe. I'd forgotten about those. Years of growth measured in pencil lines. You really built all of this. I did. Why? Why? Why this house? Why so much space? It was just you and me. I thought about it. About the scared, grief-stricken man I'd been. About the promise I'd tried to build into every wall. I think I was trying to build something big enough to hold all the love I couldn't express any other way. Did it work? No. But it taught me how to try. She cried. I cried. We sat on the floor of the empty living room and remembered. The Veterans Organization, she said. You're still donating it to them? Yes. They'll turn it into housing for homeless vets. Transitional program. That's beautiful, Dad. Seemed right. House was built by someone trying to find home. Should help others do the same. The closing was quick, professional. The buyer was a young couple. First house. They walked through with wonder. Did you really build this yourself? I did. It's incredible. We're going to take such good care of it. I know you will. I gave them a folder. Blueprints, maintenance logs, every repair I'd ever made, notes on quirks and fixes. The back step creaks. Third board from the left. It's not broken, just settling. Don't replace it. It's good luck. They laughed. Promised to preserve it. Carol and I bought a smaller place, ranch style, modern, easy to maintain. Her kids helped us move in. Sarah and Emma came for the housewarming. Emma ran through the rooms. It's so clean. What's wrong with clean? The old house had stories. This one's like a blank page. Then we'll write new stories. Can I help? Absolutely. We christened the backyard with a barbecue. Carol's family, Sarah's family, friends, neighbors, people I'd worked with over the years. Someone asked me how it felt to leave the old house. Lighter, I said. like I can finally breathe. Month 50 alone. Not alone anymore. Carol and I got married. Small ceremony. Justice of the peace. Emma was flower girl. Sarah cried through the whole thing. Afterward, at the reception, Sarah gave a toast. To my father, who taught me that it's never too late to start over, to choose yourself, to build something new. Everyone drank. I found her afterward. Thank you. I meant it. I know. You look happy, Dad. Really happy. I am. Good. You deserve it. Emma tugged my sleeve. Papa, is Carol my grandma now? Would you like her to be? Yeah. She makes good cookies. Then yes, she's your grandma. Emma hugged Carol. Carol cried. Everyone cried. It was that kind of day. Month 60 alone, 5 years since the ultimatum. Emma turned 10. Sarah threw a party, invited me and Carol. We showed up with a gift. Big one. Emma tore into it. A toolbox. Your own tools, I said. Real ones. So you can build real things. She opened it. Hammer. Screwdriver set. Measuring tape. Safety goggles. All sized for her hands. Can we build something now? What do you want to build? A shelf for my workshop. So we built a shelf right there in Sarah's garage. Emma measured, cut, hammered. I supervised. When we finished, she stood back. Proud. I built that. You did. By myself. Well, with help. The best things are built with help. She looked at me. Serious. Papa, can I ask you something? Always. Mom told me that you used to build things for her when she was little. But then you stopped. I never stopped building. I just started building different things. Like what? Like boundaries. Like self-respect. Like a life that made me happy. She thought about that. That's important too. Very important. More important than houses? Sometimes. Yes. She nodded, satisfied. Went to show her friends her shelf. Sarah appeared at my elbow. What was that about? Philosophy? Architecture? The usual. She adores you. The feeling's mutual. I'm glad she has you. The real you. Not the version I tried to turn you into. Ancient history. Is it? Getting there. We watched Emma demonstrate proper hammer technique to her friends. None of them were impressed. She didn't care. She's like you, Sarah said. How so? Stubborn. Independent. Knows what she wants. Those aren't bad traits. No, they're not. Later, when everyone had gone home and Carol and I were driving back, she asked me if I was okay. Why wouldn't I be? Big milestone. 5 years since everything changed? I hadn't thought about it. Liar? I smiled. Okay. I thought about it. And I'm glad I left. Glad I chose myself. Glad everything happened the way it did. No regrets? Some. But they're quiet now. We drove in comfortable silence. The highway stretched ahead. The night was clear. You know what's funny? I said. What? Sarah gave me an ultimatum 5 years ago. Serve her husband or leave. I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And now? Now, I think it was the best. It forced me to finally build the one thing I'd never built. What's that? A life that was mine. Carol reached over. Squeezed my hand. Good for you. Good for us. We got home late. The house was dark and quiet. Ours. We went to bed in a room that held no ghosts. No obligations. No history I had to carry. Just peace. Just presence. Just this. The next morning, I got a text from Emma. Photo of her shelf. Mounted on her wall. Books already arranged. Thank you, Papa. I love building things with you. I showed Carol. Sweet kid. The best. You going to teach her more? If she wants. She wants. I thought about that. About passing on skills. About legacy. About what we build and what we leave behind. Not houses. Not things. Not sacrifices disguised as love. Connection. Truth. The courage to walk away when staying means erasing yourself. I texted Emma back. Anytime, sweetheart. Anytime. Then I made coffee. Carol made breakfast. We sat on our porch, and watched the morning arrive. Somewhere, in a house I used to own, people I'd never met were making their own breakfast, living their own lives, creating their own stories. Somewhere, my daughter was teaching her daughter that love doesn't mean surrender. Somewhere, a version of me that used to build walls was learning to build bridges instead. And here, right here, I was finally home, not in a building, not in a sacrifice, not in the approval or need or presence of anyone else, just home, in my own skin, in my own life, in the quiet certainty that I was enough, had always been enough. Sarah gave me an ultimatum 5 years ago. Serve or leave. I smiled, grabbed my suitcase, made one call. Best decision I ever made. Not because I lost my daughter, because I found myself. And in finding myself, I gave her permission to find herself too. That's what real love looks like. Not chains, not demands, not ultimatums. Freedom, truth, the space to become who you're meant to be, even if it means walking away from everything you built. Even if it means starting over at 73. Even if it means choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. I learned something in those 5 years. Something I wish I'd known at 40, at 50, at 60. You can't build someone else's happiness. You can only build your own. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is let them build theirs, without you, without your sacrifice, without your walls. Just them, their tools, their choices, their consequences. That's the legacy I'm leaving now. Not a house, not money, not things. The example of a man who finally learned to live for himself, and in doing so, taught his daughter to do the same. Sarah calls every Sunday now. We talk about regular things. Her work, Emma's school, Carol's garden, my projects. Sometimes she asks about the old house. I tell her what I remember. But mostly, we talk about now, because that's all we really have. This moment, this choice, this chance to do it differently. 5 years ago, she gave me an ultimatum. Today, I give her something better. Forgiveness, not for her sake, for mine. Because carrying anger is just another form of servitude. And I'm done serving anyone but myself. She didn't lose me when she gave that ultimatum. She freed me. And in freeing me, she freed herself. That's what I tell people when they ask about us. About how we rebuilt. About how you come back from cruelty. You don't come back. You move forward. Together, if possible. Separately if necessary. But always forward. Always toward truth. Always toward the person you're meant to be. I'm 78 now. Carol is 76. Emma is 10. Sarah is 48. We're building something new. All of us. Not a house. Not a dynasty. Not a legacy of sacrifice. A family of choice. Of boundaries. Of honest love. It's messy. It's imperfect. It's real. And it started the day I smiled, grabbed my suitcase, and chose myself. Best thing I ever built. Not a house, a life. Finally, at last. A life that's mine. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for watching.